Hello everyone, my name is Bosa Marks and I'm here accompanied by Arya. And oh, hello Arya, how are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad in yourself, Max.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. It's actually very nice to finally also see you on camera, of course, because for you and me, we have casted a few times before, but it's actually the first time that I'm actually finally able to see a face. So we got a very interesting match coming up today, of course, which is PENTA versus StarK. We have already seen PENTA play in the upper bracket, where they didn't do too well against their own picked opponent, which was MVG Germany. But today they will be playing against StarK, which we haven't seen yet, as they started in the lower brackets due to being positioned fourth in their group. So let's just jump into this match. We're slightly delayed, so we're just going to try to catch up as soon as possible. But the part we're of course talking about is the lower bracket right here. That's the match that's going to be played today. PENTA versus StarK, of which the winner will need to play in the lower bracket round 2 against the loser of the upper bracket round 2 match 3. Yeah, either way, that's the match that we're playing today. And well, let's just see what we can actually expect of this match. Do you have any idea who will win this match?
I want to go PENTA.
PENTA?
I'm going to go stick with the guns. I'm going to say PENTA. Even though StarK are probably going to walk away with this, I'm still going to put my guns and say PENTA. It's just going to have to wait and see, Max. What are your predictions so far?
Well, I was about to say PENTA as well, and I do also want to point out that the community really seems to be agreeing with us as well. Damn, 86% for PENTA. That's such a huge amount. I believe there was about 35 people voting in this poll today. So it's a lot of people actually voting for PENTA. A lot of people having confidence in PENTA, and not so many in StarK, unfortunately. Let's hope that the match will not be as one-sided as everyone is expecting for this match, and it will be a bit more well-matched, so we can have at least a very interesting evening. But before we can, of course, jump into today's match, let's just jump into the map and to see which map we're actually going to be playing for today. Okay, so the map bans. Of course, it's a BO3. I believe it's StarK starting on the map bans. And yeah, just talk us through, Arya.
Yeah, so we're going to see Chalet taken off the board. Chalet was one of those maps, it was used for all the best of ones. It was just one of those maps that you didn't need to overly strat on. You can just pull out and you can kind of use it for gunfights and just basic strats.
Yeah.
We're also going to see Skyscraper taken off. It's a little bit more of a strat heavy. It's a little bit harder. Sights are not as nice. It's a bit more, attacker friendly.
Yeah.
Which is no surprise. Same with Border the long angle map. It's a very boxy kind of square map, which is also, teams will choose not to go to. Clubhouse, it's a bit of a strange one to see taken off the board. It's generally a nice map, but, if either team is aware of, either or being too good at the map, they're going to, ban that out.
Yeah.
But we're also going to see Bank, we're going to see Cafe being picked, which, I don't think we're going to be surprised. Bank is just a kind of an obvious kind of play for a BO3. Who doesn't like a bit of Bank in a BO3? Same with Cafe. And then the decider is going to go to Villa. What was your opinions on this, Max?
Okay, so we're starting then on Café Dostoevsky, after which we're going to Bank and then Villa. I mean, I think there are very decent maps. Bank is one that I haven't personally seen too much yet, so I'm actually very excited for that one. Of course, Café and Villa are the maps that we have seen a bit more, especially Villa. I believe Villa is like at the top of the line right now together with Chalet, so those maps are very common to be played at. It means that these teams do have some experience at it, but at the same time, also teams have been able to study each other, which does provide some options for counter-strengthening each other, which is always a very cool thing to see. Just hoping that the teams actually are doing these kind of things. Some of them have coaches, some do not. So it will be very interesting if they were actually preparing for each other. As people are expecting, StarK is going to be a bit of the underdog. I mean, the logo is even a dog. That's kind of funny. But let's just hope that StarK actually has been able to prepare for this match. I can imagine this is a big one for them. But let's just see how they will do. Last time we saw PENTA play, they didn't do too well. They were kind of underperforming, doing a bit less than we were expecting from them. So let's also hope that they have been able to rework some things, make a comeback, and that they will be performing better. Because of course they are now in the lower brackets, and also for them it's either do or die. So for both of these teams, it's very important because one of these two teams is going to be eliminated today, and I cannot imagine that any of these teams are looking forward to be one of those. So yeah. Very interesting maps. I'm very excited for them. We're starting on Bank. Are we starting on Bank? Is that correct?
We're going Bank first, then we're going to Cafe, and if it does go the whole 9 yards, we'll be heading to Villa.
I think that's actually a slight issue because I believe we're actually starting on Cafe.
Are we?
It might be, yeah, because I'm just quickly checking the Discord chat where, of course, the map ads were happening. And what is set by the board is Cafe first. Let me just make one double check before we actually jump into this match. Yeah, Cafe was the first map to be picked. So we're actually starting on Cafe. So that's already set. So let's just jump into this match and yeah, let's see how things will go. Okay, so Cafe loading in right now. A quick fly through the beautiful map of Cafe Dostoevsky, located in Russia, where the map is just like quickly showing. And we can finally jump into this match for today. Penta versus StarK. Penta on the defense as Team Blue, where StarK is playing as the orange team and will be starting as attack.
So typical bans we're going to see here. We could potentially see the Flores or a Thatcher kind of coming out for the first ban. Even maybe the Jackal, you know, if there's the enemy team or if the defense wants to go for that little bit of more of a offensive kind of roam game, they'll definitely want to take it out with that Jackal. But Thatcher's going to be the first operator off the board. I don't think a Thatcher ban is anyway surprising at all, Max, anymore. You know, Thatcher, he's one of those bans that we pretty much see game in, game out. It's standard, essentially.
Sorry, I was quickly checking something. Sorry, what you were saying at Thatcher. That Thatcher is indeed a very common ban. It has been such a default ban for so long, and it's one that I've been getting very bored of. Of course, it could be a very good reason that you're banning Thatcher. Maybe maybe it's an actual well thought pick or ban in this case. But either way, it has become a bit of a default ban, and at the same time, it's not as valuable anymore with the introduction, of course, of the EMP impact nades. This is followed by a Flores ban, very strong operator that we've been seeing picked and banned quite often due to, of course, his explosive drone capability, which can do a lot of destruction, followed by its Soulless ban. Of course, one of the newer operators to the game, was introduced last season. Can be fairly strong. We haven't seen her too much yet. Of course, it's one of the most banned operators at this moment. I believe it's even the most banned operator, after followed by Nuck on the attack. Of course, Nuck is not being banned in this case, but Solus is the second most banned operator, followed by Mira, which we also do see being banned quite often, and which can be very strong on the map, like Villa. Cafe.
Yeah, Cafe. But again, I don't think there's any ban there that's kind of jumping out to me saying, you know, something's going to be brought that's going to change up how this game is going to be played. Those are very default bans. The Solus one this season has came out as Solus was released, has been one of those bans that has slowly slipped its way into the mix. But again, that could be just because teams are not really used to, you know, how to play the Solus or how to fight against her. So that's generally kind of a comfort pick for them.
That's certainly a thing. I was also expecting to see Brava a lot more by now. Again, I think that's also due to the fact that people are not very used to play with her yet. Brava could be a very strong operator, of course, with her hacking drone. I would love to see the drone a bit more in action, but I do think we have only seen Bravo once or twice so far on the stream. Not a single time being banned either, so she has been available the whole time since she was released. She just wasn't picked, but I do think we will eventually see her once people start finding out how strong she can actually be. She also has some great guns beside her good utility, and one day we'll finally see her. But for now, we're gonna play on this match, of course, Cafe Dostoevsky, and the attack round is now starting, where it's team StarK, of course, on the attack, and as they're spawning, just gonna look for a way to approach this building and to see where they can find a first way in, find the weaknesses in their opponent's strategy, and try to find a way to win a round, of course.
Yeah, I'd like to point out the strats that we're actually seeing here for the top floor defense they're kind of atypical. They're not, you know, you're not basic setup, as you can see there in the third view. There's no head holes from bathroom into cigar. That's not being opted out at all. They've decided, you know, we're going to skip that. No bathroom rotates. You know, they're after kind of pinching off some angles, but as we say that, these Candelas are going to be raining down here from the skyline. We could see a very early execute, as the sledge is already going to repel in, but he's going to lose his life as Tiro is going to find the headshot onto Wolf, and that's going to be your sledge and a set of nades. But there is a refrag as Timo is going to find Enya, and now we're back on level count. As it's a game of refrags, Karma is also going to find one, will risk finding one of his own, and there's also going to be a double kill coming out from Diana. And now we're left in the 2 versus 2 situation. We're still 2 minutes on the clock, Max. Ample amount of time here.
2 minutes on the clock, 2 players on each team. This is a very explosive round start where Diana's not getting good contact with the Azami and getting a beautiful headshot, just finding the key just right below, but not actually hitting the shots in yet. But then finally finding the Kate, taking him out, and winning this first round for the attacking team StarK. Maybe a bit unexpected for most of us, especially since so many people were expecting Penta to be the strong team here. But of course, it's only the first round. And I think especially for StarK, a team that's kind of being underestimated potentially, is a very good way to start the map to at least get the momentum going in their favor.
It's definitely going to be a hard round for Penta to come back from, as that was, it was, started off kind of 50-50, let's take one, then give one back. And then it was just the player of the Iona just forcing way into sight, taking out a double kill. And then from there was no real return from the side of Penta. They didn't really have an answer to that. And especially with those Candelas that were coming in, they just didn't really have an answer to the sort of execute that the side of SK were bringing up to them.
Yeah, after their first failed defensive attempt on Team Penta, they're just gonna try for go for a second attempt on the same bomb site. Of course, that's very logical to do, very understandable thing to do. There's no shame in losing a defense. You can just try it for a second time. Maybe with the proper adjustments, they will be able to be more successful. Of course, also they might have not been fully prepared for such an aggressive attack from their opponents, and which is also being a bit more ready for such kind of aggressive attacking strategies. They might be more successful with the second attempt.
Yeah, as we can see, Penta are already making adaptations to how they're setting up the site. They're actually opting in for this bathroom rotate, which we didn't see before. I'm not quite sure if they're actually running the head holes into Cigar Lounge, but if they are running those, that is, another little bit of an adaptation they've made. They've realized, we were getting pressure from two different angles. The Iona was able just to walk into site with no idea that she was there at all. And as we say, though, that the Nook is actually going to be entering the map within the first 30 seconds of the round. The Nook is one of my key crucial operators, as this player actually doesn't train using could get caught out here very, very quickly. Those head holes are going to be there to slow that Nook down. It's also going to be the cave here of Tim just to try and put some pressure up. Those drones are going to spot the Nook, and the Nook is just going to sit with waiting arms, waiting for someone to peek into the crosshairs. But I don't think we're going to see anything like that happening for just a little bit, Max.
Yeah, there's not much happening at the moment. Sty is currently accompanying the Nook to try to put a bit more pressure on the people playing on the second floor. In the end, it's Tim getting found, getting taken out. That's the Kaid of the board. But the question is whether they are aware of Tiro's position. Tiro has now relocated himself towards the pillar room, from where he's holding a strong angle towards mining, where currently two attackers are located, especially with his holes made towards the hallway. You can have a very strong line of sight into mining again. And yeah, just one unfortunate thing is that there's two attackers located in that position, which he might have not been fully aware of, and yet he's getting taken out as well. It's the second defender down, the second Penta member down, leading to a 3 versus 5 situation within the first 1.5 minutes.
So, minutes 20 on time. There's quite a lot of time. As we say, though, Enya is going to find one of his own with that shotgun on the top red stairs, and that's going to bring the man count just a little bit more, into Penta's favor. But there are also still 2 members down. Quite a lot of time, though, we have to say. As we say that, though, a beautiful frag grenade is going to find Enya and take him out of that little small closet box, and it's all going to be left down here now to Risk and Karma to try and find these final 4 remaining members on South SK. As the Azami is actually in a really strong position here, as this could be a very powerful position to hold, as that's going to be one as Iona is going to fall, and that's going to be some of your nades taken off the board, and that's taking out one of your top fraggers as well. Definitely an operator you don't want to lose. Still 40 seconds on the round. This round is starting to look a little bit more winnable for Penta here, as it'll cause the side of SK maybe just a tunnel vision even slightly, but as we say, that Risk is also going to fall. It's all going to be left down here to Karma in a 1 versus 3 situation, but he's also going to get taken down, and that's going to be another round into the bag for SK.
It's indeed another round for StarK. StarK is certainly starting out very strong for this first map today. Of course, it was the map picked by them, so you could expect some kind of success from their side. But at the same time, it was Penta picking the defense here, and so far the defense is not really going in their way. 2 times they have attempted to defend the top floor, and it hasn't really been successful in any ways whatsoever. So for this reason, they're now going to attempt a different bomb site for the 3rd round, which is the kitchen bomb site. Of course, a very different bomb site in terms of setup, in terms of the structure of the building, and this will require also a very different kind of defensive setup. Let's see in which way they will be more successful this time. We do see a more extensive setup as well, with the very not too uncommon rotation in the freezer area with a deployable shield towards Christmas tree. So very extensive defense, and potentially even some bakery prep area presence happening as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if, this site, Cafe is, one of those stereotypical attacker-heavy maps anyway. So this is going to be definitely a difficult map for Penta starting off. But if, with the correct setups here, and honestly, if they can just, not essentially turtle, but, they're doing the extend out into Christmas, as you pointed out. They're doing a slight extend into Bakery, potentially, as we're actually going to see the ADS being placed. If they can kind of hold those areas, hold it till maybe the last kind of minute and a half of the round, then kind of fall back and turtle into sight, it can definitely be a very viable strategy here for the side of Penta coming into the dying seconds of a round.
Yeah, it certainly is. As the attacking players are actually responding, actually first C4 already coming out. I'm not even sure. Was it this? Oh, yeah, was the C4 coming out? It's from the Mozzie. Was it thrown towards the hatch or something?
It looks to be it was actually the Mozzie waiting for the hatch to be opened, and
Yeah, I think so, right?
Jackal popped it open. Mozzie threw that C4.
Right.
Didn't quite find it smart, and a bit of waste utility.
Yeah, Mozzie, however, is finding some people. He does just find Sayos, which is the ace player, one and only hard breacher on the attacking team. That's a huge loss for the attacking team, especially of course, since they might require some of that. Makers and Mimo with a kill on Ana and Wolf with a kill on Tyro. It's a 3 versus 4. Attackers retaking the lead, which they just lost. Again, of course, is still down one hard breacher. Meanwhile, Wolf getting another kill there on Tim, and just leaving 2 Penta members remaining in this 2 versus 4 situation. It's just Karma and Risk in a very tough position, as the attackers now have most of the control they need. Just Risk is the only one really playing offside, still playing in VIP, a good position, a strong position, but at the same time a bit of a difficult position to fall back to side in, as he can easily be locked out by the player who's currently playing outside of Garage. So if the attackers are going to try to attempt to put some pressure on Karma, he'll be all alone and it will be very difficult for him.
As we saw, the nades were getting pulled there. I think they're aware of the ADSs though, but there's still, like, it's a 3 versus 4 within, or 2 versus 4 I should say, within the first minute and a half of the round, which is, you know, it's an insane pace that SK are bringing out into this matchup. Like, they've already got full vehicle control. All they have to do now is deal with the player of Karma, who is sitting in sight. That vertical pressure is going to be coming above, take a little bit of damage onto the sledge, but not quite enough to take him down. And it's just going to be a game across angles here, as it's going to be Karma to find one of his own onto Teemo, as it looks like Risk is actually going to get aggressive here, pushing into the bakery, but he's going to fall back slightly. Those vertical angles are still going to be played though, and you know, we're coming into the dying seconds of a round. We need to see the execute come here. Hopefully we don't see the side of StarK kind of stall out, but that might be actually what we see, as a beautiful headshot's going to land there onto Risk, as all going to let down to Karma here now in a 1 versus 3 situation. Still 30 seconds of the clock, very winnable round here for Penta. All Karma has to do is find the first opener frag to get the momentum onto his side, and this round could be opened up here in the hands of Penta, where they can finally take the first. But that Sledge is aware some shots are going to be fired back and forth, as Karma is going to fall back a little bit. But that's the Sledge going to win out that gunfight and take round 3 into the hands of StarK once again.
It's just StarK winning round after round. StarK, of course, in German, the name, if you translate it, will literally mean strong. So StarK is definitely being strong at the moment. I'm not even sure whether StarK is actually a German team. No, they're actually French. Very interesting. I don't think StarK is a French word. Correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, they are playing in a very strong way. And they're just not giving Penta any chance to successfully defend their bomb sites. And this is quite unexpected, of course, but we already pointed out before. And it's really up to Penta to make a stop to this very soon. If they will continue to lose rounds, they will be down in points pretty far behind their opponent, and it will be very difficult to come back from it. If they can now at least start winning some rounds and still make it like a 3-3, they will have done decent for the first half. But at the same time, if they will continue losing rounds and it will be 0-4, 0-5 even, then the first map is not looking too good for Penta.
No, it's not looking great. Penta's looking kind of, you know, a bit sluggish entering this game. They haven't really woken up yet. But on the other flip side, we have to just congratulate StarK. They're coming out. The team chemistry looks to be there. They look solid. They're absolutely amazing. They're stacking up on each other, getting the refrags where they're needed. And then once they get the first initial frag, or second to even up man count, they're able just to break ahead and get that man count ahead of the side of Penta. And Penta just win those low numbers. Don't really seem to know how to deal with it. As you know, we've seen Karma get one, and we've also seen, I think it was also Risk, he was able to kind of pick up one as well, but it's just not enough here for the side of Penta to be able to pull it back, as you know, there's still members, there's no one actually going positive on the side of Penta here, whereas you have a member going 6-1 on the side of StarK. It's kind of a bit of a discrepancy, but as we say that, that's going to be the Nook entering early into sight, and that's going to be Teemo finding one onto the Cade, and that's going to be the number count already down into a 4 versus 5 with 2 minutes 20 on the clock.
Yeah, this is certainly not helping Penta. One of the things that can still help Penta is Karma at the moment. He's currently playing a Fireplace, but as he's getting droned, his position will be known. The Nook will no doubt get the call outs. Even though she's still watching the hatch, she will probably soon hear about this position. And at the same time, Karma is completely being locked in. People are approaching from pillar, but at the same time, also someone is still in laundry. He's in a very tough position. He needs to fight his way out of it. And this is going to be a tough fight. Diana still trying to get in control, and in the end he does find Karma, takes him out. It's a 3 versus 5 situation, and I think every single PENTA member who was playing on the roam is not taken out, although no, it's actually the Jaeger who was fallen down. This definitely does get a kill, but then falls back, starts to fall back, but does get taken out. It's a 2 versus 4, double the main count for the attacking team, so things are looking very good for the StarK members.
Yeah, still things are looking very good for StarK, but here you still have these players of PENTA holding these power positions. This can easily be turned on its head here as long as PENTA don't get too overly aggressive, and they can find, you know, even if they can bring it down to a 2 versus 3, it'll be a way more winnable situation for them in the long run. But it's a case of getting that initial pick and not losing a member. But as we say that, it's going to be risk falling, and that's your Izami, and that's your Cigar control gone. And it just leaves Enya all on a lonesome in a 1 versus 4 situation. Still a minute on the clock. But with this kind of a man count again, and this disadvantage, this doesn't look a winnable situation as a grenade's going to get thrown. But in the end, it's going to be a headshot from Wolves to take him down, and that's another round on the board here for StarK.
Things are very tough to be a PENTA member at the moment. They just can't find the kills. They can't find any way to win these rounds, and it's just roamer by roamer just being picked off, and then the attackers putting the focus on the bomb site itself, and also there the attackers just keep the attackers keep being strong, keep taking out defender by defender, and this way they just keep winning rounds. StarK, of course, in a very good position right now in 0-4, which is already a very good start for this map. Even if they lose the upcoming 2 rounds, they will continue to be in a very good position. But for now they need to be very PENTA members really need to start waking up. I would kind of imagine a tactical timeout coming out up to this moment, especially since they're down 0-4. So it would be a very understandable moment. They didn't, so perhaps the next round, especially if they will lose that one. But for now, yeah, PENTA members just really need to find a way to work things around.
PENTA just don't seem to have really an answer for how StarK is playing. StarK is also playing this very aggressively. We have to mention that as well. StarK isn't playing this passive at all. You know, they're getting in the map very early on. They're getting those open frags. We're seeing the man count already dropping within the first 40-50 seconds of round. StarK is just able to get in, gain that footprint in the map, and they're just walking through PENTA essentially. As you know, I think PENTA are trying to overextend a little bit too much here, as StarK are able, they're so coordinated. Playing against that with such an overextension, it just doesn't seem like a viable option for PENTA at the moment.
It certainly doesn't. Of course, they are now going to a different bomb site, one that we haven't seen so far, so this might provide some options to them, especially if they are well prepared to defend this bomb site. It's a bit of a harder one for both sides as well, but as long as the defense is well prepared, they might be able to win. Of course, for the attacking team, it will be their main priority to just take control of this top floor first, from where they can, of course, can very well deny the bomb site below them. And it's also one of the things that's currently being used by the defending team as well to defend the bomb site from above. So this will be the main priority, but things are starting out well for PENTA this time. Risk getting a C4 kill on stage. That's the Jan of the board. Say goodbye to those nades, to those scouting abilities. That's one attacker down, which is finally a good start for PENTA.
Yeah, it's finally, I think it's actually one of the first opening frags PENTA's been able to actually gain here in this matchup. It only took 5 rounds, but it definitely looks, you know, it's a lot stronger of a position. You have man count now with top floor control still fully in PENTA's hands. It's definitely in a very strong position. Valcam actually just getting thrown up through the hatch there for a second. Not quite sure what that play was, but we'll just kind of breeze past that one. Still, they have to take the soft floor control, and there's only a minute 30 on the clock. As we say, that Tiro is going to find one onto the Ana, or onto the Ace, actually, I should say. And it's going to be a hard breacher taken down, but is going to find one back onto Tiro, and that's going to be the answer here for this, for the Nomad. And still, we're seeing the upside down rappel angles here on the windows. And there's, you know, things have kind of stalled out a little bit here, as a little bit of damage done onto Enya, but things are kind of stalling out here, Max.
Things are certainly stalling out as Aina currently playing on the top floor together with him. A strong position. As long as they have the top floor in control, it will be very difficult for the attackers to win this round. So this is, of course, still one of the focuses. Sledge now trying to make his way into the building, trying to get control, but in the end, no, there's someone just playing downstairs the pillar. That's Risk. The Valkyrie has a very strong angle towards the balcony, where he just managed to find one of the players, which was the Sledge, leading to the 4 versus 2 situation. Still 2 defenders up top, and Esteve and Aina both get a kill each. It's all over for this attacking round for StarK, and finally PENTA winning the first round, putting the score on 1-4.
PENTA looking very strong. It looks like we saw a little bit of a dial down in the aggression coming out from StarK, but PENTA also looking extremely strong that round. They were able to take the early engagement. They were able to take down Diana very early on. That was a set of nades, and as you mentioned, you know, that's the intel gone off your board as well. So it's definitely a very valuable opportunity to lose that early on in a round. So, and plus map control wasn't there. As we've seen previous rounds, StarK gained their map control, within the first 30, 40 seconds to have the footholds of where they want to start their attacks from. But when they were on that middle floor, it looked like, they couldn't exactly go bomb and they couldn't exactly go top without any, without any strong amount of pressure coming out from PENTA. So they kind of not questioned where they were going, but they didn't exactly stick to a bush either, which that just fed into the hands of PENTA.
Yeah, we're now heading into the 6th round, the final round before the roll swap happens, and yeah, we're just gonna go back to the kitchen bomb site, which was played once before by PENTA, and they weren't too successful that time. So hopefully they now have got the momentum going and will be able to win this round. Otherwise, if they don't, it will be a 1-5 score, which is it's pretty terrible to head into the roll swap with that one. So if they can still make it a 2-4, it's not great ideal either, but at least they still have a bit more room to work with. So it's going to be a very important round for PENTA here, because this round could technically decide the fate for the remainder of this map.
Yeah, as you're saying that, it decides the rest of this game. StarK have already got the hard work done. They've already got their guaranteed 4 split. They basically aren't under any sort of pressure here. Yes, it'd be nice to get the 5th round, but they're not going to be under the near same stress as what PENTA is going to be under here to try and take a 4-2. As the defense is going to be quite a significant amount harder here for the side of StarK. So the 4-2 will definitely give them a nice prop up. But as we say, that intel is actually going to be prevented there, as there's a muzzle pest on the hatch. As we say, that Enya is also going to fall to the player on the pal, and that's going to be Diona being able to find the open frag, as the first member of PENTA is going to go down. Still, the top floor hold is going to happen here as the player is going to repel in, and it's also going to lose life, but the refrag is also there, as Ace is going to be able to find that refrag, bring us into a 3 versus 4 situation. Still 2 minutes on the clock, Max, and we're seeing such a discrepancy in the man count.
Yeah, this time it's the attacking team again being a bit more successful here. 2 defenders down, 3 to go. Well, Tim is not actually trying to make his way up towards red stairs and trying to go for a very sneaky flank. There's still 2 attackers located on top floor as 1 more is dropping down. There's just 1 more remaining. I think this might be the sledge. Yes, it is the sledge indeed. I'm not quite sure whether the Jackal is in play. We will has found any footprints of Tim. If he doesn't, this can be very catastrophic for the attacking team, as Tim can go for a very nasty and very effective flank here. There's still the sledge upstairs, and he will be found. He does get damaged quite a bit, but oh no, just as he's dropping down, he is able to avoid most of the bullets from Tim, and therefore Tim's presence is now a bit more known. At least he's still alive, so he still can do damage. He can still waste a lot of time here, but at the same time, he can unfortunately not get the kills and not be as successful on the flank as he was hoping to. But as he finds a Jackal, that's 1 more player down. It's now back to an equal 3 versus 3 man count, and PENTA does now have a bit more options.
Definitely not as strong as a round coming out from last round, but PENTA are definitely looking like they've recollected themselves. They're still 4-1 down, but they've recollected themselves. They're able to, kind of slow down the play of StarK in their tracks. Now Verkle is only getting open now, and there's still only 40 seconds on the clock, as the bandit of Tim is up there and he's lurking. He's going to connect with the headshot onto the sledge. And now we're in a 3 versus 2 situation. This is probably the latest moments in the round, apart from last round, where we've actually seen the man count in the full control here, as Frost of Risk is going to find another one, and it's all going to be down here to the player of Maker to try and make this work for the side of SK. But as you can say, that he's going to find 1 headshot onto Risk, and still 15 seconds on the clock. Proxima almost catching him out there, but there's also going to be a player offsite and 1 playing in the whiskey bar. This is not looking like the most winnable situation here, as it looks like PENTA could be able here to collect this 4-2 split. Flashbang is going to get thrown out, and headshots are not going to get connected. Shots are going to get missed, and this is a round all signed in the bag here, as Karma is going to get a constellation frag, and that is going to be a 4-2 split going into the defenses.
Oh, the dance around that bar, that must be so frustrating for the Gnome. Just trying to get the kill on the Jaeger, trying to turn it into a 1v1, but the Jaeger just being so quick on his feet, just hiding and peeking and hiding all the time behind the bar, and in the end staying alive and even getting the final kill. And that's indeed another round for PENTA. So 2-4 score, not ideal, but the best they could make after losing a total of 4 rounds in a row. So they have done a decent job for this first half, at least for the remainder of this first half. They have made a pretty decent comeback, and they now have a score that they can still work with. They will not be playing as the attacking team, and so far the other attacking team did quite well on this map. I'm not entirely sure how the stats are for this map in terms of side wins. Cafe Dostoyevsky, it's actually a mostly defensive-sided map, especially for ESA. But still, of course, we've just seen that if StarK can do the attack, then PENTA can surely do it as well. But it just really depends on how strong PENTA can be on the attack and how strong the defense of risk StarK can be.
5 seconds to insertion.
And actually, one thing I'd like to point out, we're actually seeing a Brava being brought back. Team Brava.
Heading out to defuse the bomb.
Yes, and with the
is-
timer running out, the pick is locked in, so we will finally see some Brava gameplay. Let's just hope that we actually see it. I mean, operator being picked is one thing, but at least, of course, you still need to be able to use a gadget properly. It will be very exciting. Of course, we do have the Mute and the Melusi. Those are the two main interesting bits of utility for Tiro in this case. There's still some default cams, potentially pre-placed C4s, or even a bulletproof cam that she can hack as well. I think those other two gadgets will be the main ones to deal with.
Yes, Brava definitely. Hopefully, this round we actually see some amazing plays from the Brava, as you know, we don't see her often at all. And actually, one of those clone drones is actually going to get tossed out, and we might actually be able to see a mute jammer get picked up here. As actually, that in fact is what we're going to see happen, as that mute jammer is going to get picked. I think actually the mute shot at himself. So you know, that's the first bit of actual use we've seen from the Brava drones. And honestly, taking out a mute jammer for a Brava drone, that's not the worst. It's, you know, it's an equal trade in utility.
It's certainly one good thing, because now the attackers have the more option to drone that area. Of course, the mid-jammer was denying drone entry, and that's now one thing being dealt with. Also, potentially, it would have been some effect on other bits of utility, and that's now dealt with. A very smart nade drone there from Risk, actually taking out some of the Azami shielding, allowing him to get a kill there on the Azami herself. It's now a 5 versus 4 situation in the advantage of Penta. Penta, however, various members being fairly low on HP, so they need to be careful with that. But at least they have made their entry, and as Styro is entering, gets a kill on Timo, almost getting taken out by his own teammate with the nade. Sty's got the kill on Tim, and Aina with a kill on Wolf, leading to a 4 versus 2 situation with only Makers and Sty's left.
Still ample amount of time here on the clock, as the reverse angle almost catching the player on that rope and rappel, but also going to the guy over here down playing below. And this player on the rappel is causing an absolute issue here for the Melusi. But there's also a player pushing up, as the Brava is also going to find one. Tiro on an absolute triple kill this round, and it's all going to be here to Stice to try and pull it back, as Tiro comes out with the quad kill in this round, and that's going to take another round into the hands of Penta. This map is starting to heat up, Max.
Yes, finally, Penta is certainly waking up, and I'm happy to see that. It would be very unfortunate to see them just go down like that. Of course, they started out with an 0-4 and have now been able to win 3 rounds in a row. If they will win another one, they have just done the same thing like their opponent did, also winning 4 rounds in a row. Here we can quickly see the round history. So it'll be very, very cool to see a 4-4 score right here, where the match now will be evened out again, and both teams are like basically on a fair and even score. It's still Penta here on the attack and StarK on the defense, so let's see how they will do. We will head to the same bomb site once more. Again, just like Penta did, if you lose the bomb site, there's no shame. You can just try it again, and with some proper adjustments, you can hopefully be a bit more successful.
Yeah, and ideally, the side, you know, of StarK, they shouldn't need too many adjustments. The strats were there, you know, the setup was perfect.
Yeah.
It was just the fact they were able, you know, there wasn't as much utility denial. I'm not sure if actually we saw the Jaeger being played that much in those special, you know, those convenient areas, you know, where those the Azami barricades were, where those canisters were, you know. The denial or the utility was able just to be tossed in and take those down. As we saw, you know, the Azami barrier got taken down, the Azami was then able to be felled pretty much straight after. And then your man count's leveled, you have players on windows, you need to slow them down. So hopefully if we see, you know, the defenders use their utility just a little bit in a kind of a smarter position, we should definitely see an SK, you know, they should be able to pull something together with this round.
Yeah, meanwhile, as the round has started, Tim is already entering the building very quickly. Last time when StarK was playing as the attacking team, we saw Nuk pulling these kind of plays, but this time it's Tim. Of course, Yana is also very good at scouting ahead, finding information herself, and she's making a very quick entry. There's some players on her level of the map. There's just one currently in fireplace, while the other one is on the white stairs. So you need to be very careful, because some people, you might find anyone very soon. And that's also a word of caution there for the defending team, who of course needs to be very careful. There's just one camera on this level, and if the Yada is able to avoid it and just stay quiet enough, they will not be able to spot her and scout her.
Goyo revealing his position, though, this could be absolutely fatal here for the side of the defense. As you know, they at least they're kind of scaring the attackers of Penta just a little bit. You know, we're just gonna sneak out and just kind of give our locations away, just kind of scare you, make sure you're not going to feel safe at all on the lower floors. As we say that, the Bravo drones are inside, and this is where all the utilities are going to be just soaked up. As we say that, those going to be, and you find the one and getting the opener frag on to the Azami, and that's going to be one of the operators that you don't really want to lose that early on, because Azami can hold those pressure positions. But as we say that, the Goyo is also going to fall as Tim finds one of his own, and that brings us to a 5 versus 3, still a minute 20 on the clock. But Timo is going to have a response, as Tiro is also going to fall, and now we're going to be left in a 3 versus 4, with still a minute 11 on the clock.
So a minute left, and as Karma then finds Timo, it's a 4 versus 2 situation, a very good position for Penta to be in, with now just 1 last minute to go. There's just 2 remaining defenders, the Castle and the Jaeger, of which are fairly close to site. It's just a matter of time for Penta to just drone them out, find their locations, and as they would do, they will start putting some pressure. At the same time, also Ace still being alive, able to open up some walls, create new lines of sight and entry points, which will certainly aid the defending team in this case.
100% those Goyos are going to get popped as the Ace is already inside. Enya finds himself a double in this round, and it's all going to be left here now down to the Jaeger in this 1 versus 4 situation, but the shots are not able to quite hit. Risk is going to win that out, and now we're going to see a 4-4 split here, as this is probably one of the most defensive-sided cafes I have seen myself in quite some time.
Yeah, this is huge. Just first StarK winning with winning 4 rounds in a row, turning this game into an 0-4 score, but then Penta just finally waking up and winning 4 in a row as well to make it even with a 4-4 score. From here, it can just go any way. In 2 rounds, if one team wins 2 in a row, it can be match points. They can just go winning 1 by 1 from here. It's just really the question what will happen. But of course, one thing is for sure, Penta is a team who has the momentum at this moment, and which can very much aid them. One interesting thing to point out is that StarK is going for a 3rd bomb site. They could have gone for the 2nd bomb site. They could have gone to the kitchen, which is a very logical option, or even potentially fireplace reading, but actually going for the least favorite option, which in this case is fireplace mining. We have seen it on Monday as well, when me and Chamberlain were casting. It's an interesting bomb site. You don't see it too often, but especially if you're a team who has well prepared on this bomb site, so let's hope StarK has done that. It might be a difficult one for Penta to attack, as they might not be fully prepared for attacking such bomb site.
Yeah, and actually, as we saw, you know, when it was also Penta on their defenses, that was actually one of the sites they were able to actually pluck away from the side of StarK. It's one of those bomb sites where you're not too comfortable pushing in from the base or from the bottom floor. You're not too comfortable pushing in from top floor. You know, if the defenders are holding heavy, it's just one of those sites that there's no real comfortable positions unless you can get that full top floor control. It's a difficult bomb site to attack, and honestly, I was going to make a controversial opinion here. It's probably one of the stronger bomb sites on the map, in my opinion.
It could very much be, just that so many teams are not very comfortable on playing it because they never do so. It's just one thing, like, it's easily doable. Like, you see so many times, even on higher levels of competitions, especially on PC, you do see being picked sometimes, so there's certainly some options there. You just need to be prepared for it. You just need to take the time as a team to just do some scrims, do some practices, so you can actually get a bit more comfortable around this bomb site. Because if you do prepare for it, it's very much doable, and you can actually throw up your opponent off guard, because also they will not be well known with the bomb site either.
As mentioned, though, as we see, there's a bit of a top floor hold, there's a bit of a bottom floor hold. But is that the Echo drone going to get taken? It's not going to get taken. That Bravo drone was actually shot just before it was able to make its full connection. It was about a millisecond from hitting that full connection, but the Bravo drone was destroyed. We almost just saw the first Echo drone taken out in the ESA Cup. That is not going to happen today, as that Banshee's actually going to reveal the position here at the bulk. And, you know, the defenders are going to be definitely well aware. And this bulk can actually, if they can hang on to this position, it's going to be definitely a strong one. But I think Tim's very much aware of the player that's playing on the lower red stairs. But the round is kind of also stalled out, but that top floor control is gained. But a shot comes out from Risk, and that's going to be Wolf falling. And now we're in a 5 versus 4. Still a minute on the clock, though, Max.
Yeah, meanwhile, attackers have gained the top control, which is going to be very favorable for them. There's a lot of self-destruction they can do to create some verticals to make it very difficult to play on the areas below. And StarK then also finds Tim. It's now a 5 versus 3 situation. Sios currently playing towards the white side, from where he could potentially go for a nasty flank. Also still the Echo play, who's actually doing some damage right here on Tim, who's playing right above him. The verticals, of course, work in both ways. And then Aina with a kill on Sios, turning things in a 4 versus 2. 2 very strong camp operators being alive right now. Might Maestro with his turrets, and Echo with his Echo drone. Two very strong ones, one to disrupt, one to do damage. This could be very strong, especially as the cameras are still mostly left intact for their teammates to watch, but as Echo loses his life, Makers get the kill Tiro, and just all Makers all alone in this 3 vs 1 with the LMG in hand, a strong gun, but his HP is not working in his favor, and as Aina does the final bit of damage, he gets taken out, and it's then another attacking win. Penta taking the lead after starting out with an 0-4 score, now putting themselves on a 5-4 score.
Comeback season for Penta. That community vote, everyone seems to be right. You know, surely you don't go up from 0-4 to 5-4 up. And, you know, it's definitely going to affect StarK's mental here. It can't not affect it. You know, you were such aggressive, you were so strong, you looked amazing going into your first 4 rounds. Round 5 kind of slipped away slowly. It wasn't, you know, the biggest kind of throwaway. Round 6 also slipped away very steadily from them. But then once the side of Penta, you know, swapped onto their attacks, it all just it was a coin flip. It literally just flipped on its head. Penta bought the aggression. They were getting in the map control. They were getting those frags. And they're just, again, it's like what we're seeing with Penta at the very early start of this game. StarK don't really know how to combat that. This is their game style that they were playing with at the very start of the game, and they just have no comeback for this.
Yeah, they certainly don't, but it's about time for StarK to start waking up again and start fighting back, because after losing 5 rounds in a row, they're just 1 point away for their opponent to be on match points. That's something you certainly don't want. It would be very nice if StarK can actually turn this into 5 vs 5 and break the streak of Penta. Because if they don't, then they need to be very careful, because then Penta will be on the match points. So now we're heading into round 10. We're going back towards the top floor, which was played 2 times by StarK. They weren't able to win it a single time. I'm actually surprised why they're not even attempting to go to the kitchen bomb side, which would be a very logical option. It's not the weirdest bomb side at all, but I guess they're just not comfortable with it or whatsoever. For that reason, they are clearly avoiding it for now.
Yeah, but the kitchen again is one of those bomb sites. It's been played out so much that, you know, attackers generally, it is a very strong bomb site, especially if, you know, you kind of extend out and then kind of collapse back in the low dying seconds of the round. But it's played so often, the attackers know how to deal with everything there. So if you're kind of bringing out these, you know, tertiary bomb sites by bringing the middle floor, as we saw, and, you know, top floor isn't as preferred as, you know, the kitchen generally would have been. So, you know, it's also a little bit harder, and you can also have a kind of better setup here for the top floor. But that's why that's just going to be here on the rappel. Look to try to get aggressive here as our run out comes out here from the Valkyrie. And we're going to see a double frag actually come in, as Timo is also going to find one onto Tiro. Tim going to have a response back onto Timo though, and bring that man count just slightly back more into the hands of Penta. As we say that, Enya is going to find a beautiful shot onto that player on top white stairs, bring that man count back to a 3 vs 3, but there's also another player on that white stairs. Those Kiba barriers are going to be thrown, and that will stop the reign of Enya for the rest, well, at least the next few seconds anyway.
Yeah, I was about to call, like, this is the moment where Penta StarK starts coming back, but as Scar finds another one on another StarK member, it's Tyus being taken to the board. It's a 3 vs 2. Still Azami in this very strong position. I'm not even quite sure whether all of the Penta members are aware of this position. As a flashbang is being thrown, I do think so, but still, it's Karma trying to, like, thinking he can actually avoid Azami, just run past her. Of course, the bomb side was a bit more weaker as she's playing here, but still, she was being spotted, gets taken out. It's now back to 2 vs 2. Also, the Jaeger on his way to assist the teammates. Again, a strong position for him where he can easily cut out any attacker trying to attempt to take out his teammate, but as he's hiding himself, he cannot do much. And then Tim taking out Sios, leaving the Jaeger all alone in this 2 vs 1 position, which is very much still clutchable. With 45 seconds on the clock, the attackers do have time to do some scouting. Aina currently on the drone looking for the Jaeger, trying to find him, and then also here IQ looking for some utility that could potentially be of danger.
Yeah, so this is definitely, it's a winnable position here, 100% for the side of StarK, but once you've let Penta get this momentum here, as they're all so close to each other, Diego's able to find a knock onto one though, as Enya is not also there to capitalize on this, as it's now a 1 vs 1 situation here between Enya and the Jaeger of Wolf. Who will win this out, as the crosshairs are just not being trained on each other, as I think the Jaeger actually has a good idea where where player of Enya is, but the time is not going to be here on Enya's side. He's going to either have to go for this frag or get this diffuser down, which diffuser in this kind of position isn't the best situation, as Enya, or as Wolf is slowly creeping up, should be able to find the backside of the ace and is able to take it down and bring us to 5-5 apiece.
Indeed, a 5-5. 5 rounds is the maximum the Penta could win in a row, and then it's up to StarK to finally deny that win streak and bring things to an equal 5-5 score. Very interesting score for where we can go on, because this is always like something I like to point out. The upcoming 2 rounds are going to be very important. Either we're going to have a winner either of the two teams can be it if they win 2 rounds in a row, or each team wins 1 round, and we're going to overtime as we then hit a 6-6 score, and the match will be extended with 3 rounds. So these upcoming 2 rounds are going to be very important, like I'm saying, but it's still StarK on the defense, while it's still Penta attacking, and generally Penta has doing much better on the attack compared to StarK on the defense.
Yeah, and as you know, you've mentioned, we're not very far from overtime, but I also have a feel, Max, the spidey senses are tingling that this is going to be an overtime match. There is no way this is going to be solved in regulation. Not a chance. We're seeing these two teams, unless we see, obviously we need to see something drastic coming out from StarK, but I honestly can feel something coming from them. You know, they're bringing out the kitchen after, not a great defense. It means they were either hiding the kitchen because they have something planned for it, or, you know, they're just wanting a round where they can guarantee themselves a match point. So there's definitely many options of why the kitchen has been brought out here, why it has been hidden so far. It'll be interesting to see if it's actually going to be, you know, pay that dividends to the side of StarK, whether it'll put some pressure on the Penta. As you know, Penta have got that momentum built now. They've, you know, they won the 5 rounds in a row. They were eventually shut down in a 1 versus 2 situation, but that's not the point. But this Bravadro is sneaking its way in, looking for that utility. Not going to find anything as of yet, Max.
I don't even see any bit of utility. Meanwhile, the round is starting, however. It's Wolf with a kill on A, and Risk with a kill on Timo. There's 2 members on each side. It's a hardened creature lost on the attacking team, which is huge, versus the Jaeger, which is not as big of a deal, of course, as he has placed most of his utility, most likely. So I do think that's a huge win for the defending team for now, but as it's still 4 versus 4, things can still go either way. Attackers are still trying to make this one control, trying to get inside. It's the Warden playing very close here in prep room, which of course very well counter against the Yinka are being thrown. They should know it's a Warden, but still, luckily for the attacking team, they are able to get Wolf. But as Sios gets a double kill on both his teammate and Tim, it's now 3 versus 2 in the advantage for the attacking team, which is Penta.
Still ample amount of time, minute 50 on the clock. A little bit of an unfortunate team kill there, but the man count is in favour here. As Hero's going to find one though onto Cyros, and it's all going to be left down here to Stizzy in this 1 versus 3 situation. And this is the round where you either make it or break it, because this is match point to whoever can win out this. It is a 1v3. But still, shots are going to be fired. Not going to quite land. Those drones are going to be identifying this Melusi every step she does make in this rest of this round. If that rotates there, that diffuser is going to also get hot on the floor. This situation shouldn't be winnable here. We're going to have to see an absolute insane clutch to come out here for this round to be put into StarK side. A little bit of shots there into the back of the Melusi, and it's going to eventually fall as Zero finds the final kill, putting themselves on to match point.
Yeah, the match point going in favor of Penta. They're just now 1 round away from winning this first map and earning their first map points. At the same time, StarK is also 1 round away from denying that map point and bringing this map to the overtime with a 6-6 score. So this round is going to be very important, just as much as the previous one, maybe even a bit more important. And if StarK just manages to win this round and make things go even between these 2 teams, then this map will be very, very interesting, as it then will be extended. But for now, they are going back to the same kitchen bomb site. So indeed, I do think they have some kind of confidence for this bomb site. It's the only one. No, it's not the only one they have been able to win. No, they haven't won it a single time. They have only played it once. They're just going to attempt it for a second time. Their setup seemed to be very interesting, like a very proper setup, but it was just Penta being stronger. But I do think there's a good chance that they will be able to win this on the second attempt, as there was not too much wrong with the setup. It was just the execution that didn't really go in their favor. So yeah, let's see how this round goes. This is either the end of the map or the start of the extension of this map. We'll see how things will go.
I cannot honestly see StarK though let this finish in regulation. They fought so hard in the very early start. You know, the first 4 rounds were just flawless from them. They had no issues at all. I cannot see StarK, you know, letting, especially after a 1v2 clutch with the Jaeger, I cannot see them let this go in regulation. They're definitely going to put something in here for the dying seconds. But it's also quite an interesting setup we're seeing here though from the side. That ADS is going to get hacked, and that is also another gadget to fall. We might see the Banshee also fall, but that drone is going to get taken before that's actually going to be a possibility. Flashbangs will be coming in here though with small big, and at the moment the round is kind of stalling out. But as we say, that Tim and Karma are both on really low HP. Was that from the windows above? didn't quite catch what
Might have just
happened.
been, yeah, might have just been Jaeger now being in a difficult position as the ADS which was placed is now being taken care of. It was hacked, but I think he just decided to destroy himself as it could potentially catch the impacts or see Nigel Cells thrown by any of his teammates. So it's better just to take care of it as it's not of any use for your team anyway. Flashbangs are not going to be thrown. Jaeger is going to be stunned. This is a very tough position for him to be in. Nades are coming out, doing a huge amount of damage, but not taking him out. Also, the Warden jumping in to assist him, but for now, not too much happening. Just lots of damage being done on either side, but not a single player being taken out as we need a 1 minute 45-second mark.
Hey, crosshairs are going to almost land there as Tiro just looks away at the wrong second, finds the headshot though in the end. That's Wolf that's going to fall, and that player is still also going to be playing on Christmas as a refrag is going to be got back onto Tiro. And that somehow that Jaeger walking away with his life after that many grenades thrown, quite incredible to see that. But the back of the player in the bakery is just almost getting exposed, just not quite walking into Azami's crosshairs. But as I say, that Timo is also going to find one for Tim, and that's going to be the player on the upside down reverse angle going to be taken down. And that breach is now going to get open. That full wall is open, and the pressure should be applied here. But Jaeger's also on very, very low HP and should be just a literal bullet will take him down. But a headshot is also going to take him down, as you know, that's an insta kill from the get-go. Sledge going to take a bit of damage as he's also going to fall. And it's going to be a 2 versus 3 situation. Still a minute on the clock.
Okay, 1 versus 3 situation in the advantage of StarK. This could very much go to overtime if StarK manages to find this final player. A still full HP playing in Bakery. He has a decent bit of control. Many of the walls are open, but there's 3 opponents against him, against his favor. This is very difficult. The player upstairs luckily has moved, so he doesn't need to worry about that one anymore. But the one in Kocek is going to be very, very important, very tricky. But also the player on the hallway taking him out in the end, bringing this round to StarK, putting the score on an even 6-6, and therefore bringing this map to overtime, extending it with 3 rounds, and whichever team wins 2 out of them wins this first map.
Oh, fun fact for you, Max. Those last 12 rounds that we've just casted, useless. They mean nothing.
Yes, everything we just seen, everything that just happened can be thrown in the bin. Basically, we're just playing a ranked of basically a match with only 3 rounds. That's what we're gonna be playing now. Because it's basically a 0-0 score again. The only interesting thing we need to point out is that in overtime, the wall swap happens every single round. This time it's StarK picking the defense as the first round to start with, and so far the defense didn't really go too well for them. They won 2 out of 6. So technically this should be in the advantage of PENTA, them being on the attack. But luckily, like I said, the wall swap happens every single round, and therefore the StarK members need to attack after this round, and the PENTA members need to defend after this round.
Yeah, and we've seen StarK's attacks are quite strong. You know, they're getting the aggression, they're doing that. Their defense is not so good. Last round we saw somehow they were able to keep the players in the small bakery area, which just seemed like a miracle. Essentially, those nades were being tossed, those flashbangs were being tossed. The Jaeger was living with the skin of his teeth against that bakery bar, and it's just, I honestly don't know how that Jaeger didn't get taken out. It looked like the nades were landing directly at his toes. He just tanked them, said, not today, PENTA, and put them back into the bin. But at the same time, you won't have that luck again. I can't say every time, but those castle barricades have got to get open. These Malusi, or not the Malusi, the Kiba barriers are going to get pressured as Tiro is going to find the opening, and that's going to be the Azami also going to fall. So that's not ideal.
Yeah, I guess barricades are an easy thing to deal with for Risk. With the sledgehammer, you can just open one by one, and as Tiro finds another one, or actually finds another defender, it's also in this case the Jaeger being taken off the board. It's a 5 versus 3 within the first minute, within the first 54 or 45 seconds even, leaving just only 3 defenders standing. This is going to be a very difficult round for the members of StarK as they are in a clear disadvantage. But as Timo throws out the C4, connects with Risk, gets a kill, is now 4 versus 3. Still the advantage for the attacking team, but things are getting a bit easier for them. A, however, being in a very strong position, just waiting for the mute to hit and step into his crosshair. Otherwise, he can get a very easy kill here, which will be very destructive for Timo. But as Timo is playing in the closet, it's not likely that he will relocate himself anytime soon. And he has A now, getting his kill, the one he's been waiting for so long, leading to a 4 versus 2 situation.
As we say that, though, it's always going to be Tiro finding himself a triple in this round, and it's all going to be left down here to the Valkyrie in this 1 versus 4 situation. As shots into the back, Enya from the skylight takes him down, says good night, and takes another round, putting us on match point once again. PENTA 1 round away from winning map 1.
Yeah, even though StarK took some castle barricades, especially putting them on the outside windows, you would expect that it would really cover them. But in the end, the Sledge was so effective on taking those out. And in the end, I think a total of 4 kills happened from outside of the map. Attackers being on the rappel or being on the skylight. I think a total of 4 defenders lost their lives because of that.
Yeah, and we've got to compliment the absolute patience that was coming out there from
Yes.
Enya. He was just sitting on that window, waiting for the mute just to kind of walk or make a mistake, walk slightly back into his crosshairs, and eventually it happened. Mute was able to be lost. That player was then the attackers were able to take control of Cigar Lounge, and it was just an absolute flood from that point onwards. It was just frag after frag, and we've got to admit, Hero was going absolutely huge this game, 16 and 10. Let's talk about that.
Sorry.
We may have lost you for a second there, Max.
No, I was just being a bit silent. A little bit multitasking, of course, as I'm also doing the production side of this stream. Just was quickly checking something. Yeah, either way, we're just now heading into the potential final round. It's PENTA on the match point, something they were already before, but in this case, it's now StarK just being 1 point down. It's a very important round for StarK to win this round, as because if they lose it, it will be PENTA taking the map point here. But if StarK manages to win this round, it will be 7-7. It will be even again, and then there's just one final round to be played to decide the fate of this first map. As this time it's StarK on the attack, which has been in their favor, but it's quite a long time ago since we have seen them on the attack, so the question is, do they still have this momentum? Will it still work for them, or have they lost the momentum? But wow, things are starting out very well for StarK here, as Makers is just trying to go for a wallbang, hitting the head of Riz. That's the Valkyrie of the board to C4 down the drain, and I do think she placed all the cameras, but still, that's 1 player down, and also a bit of utility lost there.
Yes, not an ideal position, and that was an absolute beautiful shot as the enemy control is already gained here, as we're back to the aggressive start that we've seen. Map control gained pretty much early on in the game. Still 2 minutes left, still also going to be playing kind of back in the bathroom area, and they will have to deal with this top floor positioning here, as there is going to be 2 members above. But the Jaegers looking to get a little bit aggressive here, not quite peeking into the crosshair of the Iana as of now. As you know, it just kind of seems we're going to see a bit of stalemate. Those drones are going to come out here, and that position of the Jaeger is going to be made aware. A bit of a wallbang should come out here. Shots are going to be landed and let Iana put on to 1 HP in this 4 versus 5 situation, but that's going to be shots landed, as it's going to be Tiro finding himself a trip or double in the round, as Tiro is also going to find one. And this round is looking slightly more convincing here from PENTA, as it looks like the aggression and the pressure that the side of StarK were able to bring is just not there anymore. It's a 4 versus 1 situation, Max.
It's a 4 versus 1 situation. It's very unlikely that the player will be revived, and indeed, as the C4 comes out, the last player loses his life, and this round is then going to PENTA. So a 8-6 score, first round, first map win for PENTA. Yeah, beautiful first map for them. It could have really gone either way. It was so well matched, these 2 teams, but in the end it was PENTA being the victorious one, with Tyro being the MVP with 18 or 19 kills even, which is of course a very beautiful score. So yeah, PENTA taking the first map, even though it does say Bank below. There's like a little issue with map ban, which we haven't been able to figure out why it's actually showing Bank as the first map, even though it's clearly Cafe the first map. But just use your imagination a little bit and just think of it being actually Cafe and Bank being the next map in this case. So yeah, beautiful first map. I don't know what to say. Like, it was just going so even between these 2 teams. First, it really seemed like it was StarK were just gonna kind of embarrass PENTA on this first map. But then PENTA woke up and it turned into 4-4, then it turned into 6-4, or no, 5-5, 6-6. It's just like comeback after comeback. But then yeah, PENTA now winning with the 8-6 score. Sorry, 8-6 score. I'm saying correctly.
That last round especially, you know, PENTA didn't exactly have the best of defenses, wasn't quite the best, but then they just came out with an absolute stormer out of pretty much what seemed nowhere. They were able to bring mana count and then down to a 4 versus 1, seal off with Nitrocell. That was all she wrote on the side of StarK at that point.
Yeah, it's just a very devastating match for StarK. Like even Chamberlain was explaining last Monday when I was casting with Chamberlain, like Chamberlain rather would lose like a match like a 7-0 or 7-2 or 3-ish than losing a match like this, because it is so devastating. You have given so much energy on this first map, and then losing it like this, it's hard. It's very tough on you. And the question is whether StarK is strong enough to actually put this behind them, start focusing on the next map for now, which is Bank then. and whether they will be able to go full power there as well. I'm hoping so, because it would be very nice if you see a very close map again, and potentially even StarK winning that map, turning it into a 1-1 map score. But for now, PENTA is, of course, feeling a bit more confident in a very less stressful situation, which could potentially help them out for this next map.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, as you mentioned, the mental is not going to be there for StarK. You know, Ubisoft calls it a heartbreaking defeat for a reason.
Yeah.
You put that much power in, you have much effort, you tried your best, and then PENTA were able to just kind of run away with you coming into the final 2 rounds. You're definitely not going to be the most confident coming into this. And honestly, I think PENTA might be able just to walk away from here.
It could very much be, like, it could very much become a 2-0, something I was predicting before this match in some way. But at the same time, given the fact that PENTA had such a struggle on this first map, it might just also be that StarK somehow pulls things off and still manage to bring things to a 1-1, where we then will head over to Villa. But only the next map will tell. Talking about the next map, we're just going to have a little break of about, let's say, 5 minutes or so. And I'll be back, and then we can start with this. The second map, potentially last map, or the start of another comeback. So just a little break, just grab a drink, grab a snack, go to the toilet, and we'll see you all very soon. So bye-bye. And welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the little delay. The break was a bit longer than expected. Had to do with the lobby needing to be recreated, but luckily all members are just joining back in now, and we're almost good to go. But yeah, before we just head into the second map, let's just think a little bit back about the previous map, Cafe Dostoevsky, an 8-6 score for PENTA. It was a very, very cool match where the teams really were evenly well matched, but in the end, it was PENTA being victorious. So now we'll be heading into the second map, potential final map, as it's 1-0 in the advantage of PENTA, which will be Bank. So we already talked a bit about this map, what we can expect, but it could be a very good map for PENTA, even though right now below it says it's a StarK map, but it's actually a PENTA map. Again, we're having some issues on the side of map ban, unfortunately, but it could be a very strong map for PENTA. They pick it for a reason, and it could be that there will be victorious on this map as well. At the same time, StarK, they have got a proper taste of PENTA. They have managed to put some pretty good attempts against PENTA on Cafe, and I don't think they will just give up that easily, and will at least try to give their best on Bank. So what do you think? What's going to happen here?
Honestly, PENTA take this 100%. It's a structured map. It's not one of those. You see, StarK were playing for gunfights. They were taking their kills, and PENTA weren't doing that as much. Did a little bit, not the whole amount. And when you put on a team that's very structured onto a very structure-heavy map, I can't see StarK. StarK. I can't see this StarK taking this. PENTA win this. Come on, give me the 2-0.
Okay, so 2-0, that's what you're expecting. As the map is not loading in, we're gonna jump into this map and see whether you are right. The Bank is just loading in right now. Again, a quick tour around the map. And yeah, we'll just see how things go. It's PENTA on the attack and StarK on the defense. Let's just see how they will do. I don't know the stats for Bank on how much side it is on either side. I mean, if I look at the ESA stats, it is attacking favorite. It's a 45% versus a 46% on the defense. So attackers should be a bit in the advantage here, and that's PENTA. But let's see how they will really do. Those we have already seen so many times that those stats don't mean everything. There are clear exceptions, and as we're now seeing the first operator bans, we're seeing Hibana, which I think is very understandable on this map, on a map like Bank. Maybe you can explain why.
Yeah, it's an understandable operator ban. You don't want to let the attackers take too many hatches, so that's an understandable reason you want to take the Hibana off the board. You kind of want to force them into playing either the Ace or the Thermite, which they'd have less destructive control. Which, if you can do that, it hampers what sort of an attack we can see coming out from them. But again, that Nook also been taken off the board. One of those key operators that we saw actually previously in Cafe, where the Nook was able to just kind of sneak her way through different parts of the map, get the early engagements. So it's not really a surprise. I'm expecting to maybe see the Valkyrie or the Cage coming out here. Actually going to be Solus. Once again, I don't think a Solus ban is going to be one of those surprising ones. Bank has so much vertical control that you can use, especially if that diffuser's getting down. The Solus can absolutely come in huge here, shoot through the floorboards, take out that diffuser, and again, the Mira. Standard bans, Max, pretty much standard bans.
Yeah, standard bans, just compared to Cafe, only the Hibana and the Nook, the two attacker bans, are different, but that's also a different map, and it makes a lot of sense to see these being banned here, especially like the Hibana, like we already pointed out, and Nook just also being very strong on that first map, and being very strong in general, also one of the most banned operators in ESA, and maybe in general even, excuse me. Being a very commonly banned operator. I think it's I believe it's the most banned attacking operator on ESA at the moment, where Solus is the most banned defensive operator and most banned operator in general. So as we're now starting with this first round, it's Team StarK on the defense. And for this, it will be starting in on the basement bomb side. A very logical, a very understandable one to start at. It's a strong one. It's a very popular one. Together with the top floor, the CEO office, it's the most commonly picked to start with. And yeah, just up to Team StarK to go for the defense here. Interesting thing to see is that both hatches are being opened immediately, with the blue hatch being reinforced. I think the elevator hatch also was reinforced, and the lobby hatch is still left soft up to this moment. But as I would expect someone to go for reinforce here, but as the timer of the preparation phase has run out, it will become very dangerous to actually go for a reinforce here. And as even the barricades are coming out, I don't think they will reinforce this hatch, which is curious. if you're asking me.
It's definitely a curious one. You know, it leaves a major push zone open to the attackers. But as we said, Risk is already in the building. 2 minutes 40, and he's already got the top floor control pretty much on his side of him. Still, though, it's going to be Team up here. That's going to be there to be that thorn in his side. As you know, the drone is going to be there. He's going to get spotted out. We should see this early engagement here as a beautiful shot from Tiro. Is actually going to take him down. Not from where that is actually, as Tiro comes out with an absolute beautiful double kill coming out. That's going to be your Kapka and your Jaeger phone, and that map control is already gained for the 5 versus 3 so early on. But a beautiful headshot comes out from the player, the Goyo, taking down Tiro. And now it looks like we're seeing a cafe all over again, Max. It's just back and forth.
It's a very aggressive defense here, but in the end, it doesn't really work out. 2 defenders already down versus 1 attacker. It's the Brava of the board versus the Jaeger and the Kapkan. Possibly before even going down to the grave. But as Thijs gets a kill on Tim, it's now back to an even 3 versus 3. But now Aina with a kill on Wolf, bringing things to a 3 versus 2 advantage there for Penta. Let's even the smoke of the board. One of those operators you don't want to lose early on, especially as he takes the free smoke canister to the grave. And then Thijs is also getting injured in a very tough position, unlikely to be revived. It's all coming out of Makers, who's getting in a very difficult gunfight. Does manage to injure 1 player, but it's a 2 versus 1 still. I think the Jekyll will be able to be revived, and as Karma then gets a kill, takes out the injured player. I think Ina is being revived right now, so it's all coming out to Makers, and it's 3 versus 1.
Yes, 3 versus 1 situation. Still ample amount of time on the clock. That side control is gained, and it's all going to be left to Makers on a low enough HP to try and pull this out of the bag and try get, you know, keep SK in this game. Crossguards are going to be lined up. Diffuser's also going to go down. There's not a whole lot he can do in this situation, as that Diffuser will go hot on the ground. He's going to be shot again down to a low HP, but at the end, Enya is able, that 20 HP, and that amazing C75 is able to rip him down to shreds, and Penta take what seems to be a very convincing round.
Yeah, things went very, very wrong here for StarK. Of course, 2 members losing their life on the white stairs, which is a very dangerous location. Of course, this is a skylight position, which in the end, I think it was a double kill, right? Yeah, it was a double kill from the skylight, where it was, I believe it was Tim?
It was Tiro to take the double,
yeah,
as far as I can remember. Yeah, it was Tiro taking the double from the skylight.
Yeah. I'm actually seeing it on Steam happen right now. Yeah, indeed. It was Tiro indeed getting the double kill there. Like, that's such a high traffic area for where you can really expect an attacker just to be waiting for you, and just very strong of it was Risk the Amau to just hunt those players towards the position. After which then his teammate could get a double kill. Also very interesting to see towards the end of the round was the Lucy still having a bulletproof cam still in her pocket. Would have been so useful to have it towards the end of the round, as she was in a 1 versus 3 situation. Just have a bit more intel on where the players would have been coming from. Potentially she could have got 1 or 2 kills and potentially even clutch it out. I just don't think StarK was ready for this very fast and aggressive round from Penta.
Oh, they weren't, they weren't prepared. And especially one thing I want to mention as well, they lost their smoke early. It was, those smoke waves hadn't got any sort of use whatsoever. Those Goyo canisters weren't in a position where they could have been popped to even delay a plant. And, it's just kind of questionable what the defense was doing in that situation. But you also got to give credit to Penta here. They're pulling in an amazing attack. And it looks like the momentum that they were able to kind of gain from going in through Cafe, it looks like that's after kind of translating here onto the map bank. As we say that, though, this Jaeger could very much wipe their engagement as the player is on the skylight. The headshot won't be gained, and Tiro was able to pick one off in a free kill. But as we say, that camera is going to get taken out in the refrag. Dropping the hatch, and a beautiful shot there from Tiro finds the headshot, as Enya is also going to find one of his own. And it's all brought down to a 4 versus 2 situation. Still 2 minutes on the clock, Max. What is going on here?
You would expect the StarK members to learn from the mistake from the previous round to be on the white stairs area. Like, he was even ready for the play to be there, but it's just such a difficult gunfight to just aim up so far high and just only see a hat. It's just so difficult to hit that shot, and it's just not a smart play. And it's also going to kill Makers. It's all coming down to Wolf. One thing is a good thing for StarK. At least the smoke is still standing, which we couldn't say about the previous rounds. Smoke is still standing towards the remainder of this round. He's not losing his life too early on, but being in a 4 versus 1 situation with even Tim going for the defense and the player just coming right from behind. That's Aina on the Jekyll. Smoke is completely trapped. Does have to go cancel which he can pop, but still Aina just running through the flames, getting the kill, and that's another round for Penta in the pocket.
It's just very convincing. Penta are not looking anyway phased by the defense that StarK are bringing here. It's just pure aggression the side of Penta are bringing it, which is, we don't typically, Penta, they'd not known to be the most aggressive team. You know, they do like their strats, but they're playing so tight to each other. You know, as we saw, the player on Skylight was able to find one. Then it was Karma, if I do recall correctly, was then taken out, and then the vault through the Skylight were able to take down get that refrag. You know, they're playing so tight. The refrags are there. StarK don't have a chance in this matchup. It's just Penta running the show here.
It certainly is. If there's one thing that could potentially work things around for StarK, is finally going to a different bomb site. They have played the basement 2 times in a row and weren't a successful single find. So hopefully for them, the new bomb site, which is here on the top floor, CEO office, is going to be a bit more, going to provide a bit more options. It's a very customizable bomb site. It's a very tricky one to attack, but also tricky to defend at the same time. Castle barricades are certainly going to be helpful with the many windows this map has. But it's just really up to the execution of either of the sides. Penta being very strong on the attack, so the defenders need to be very, very careful, need to be very strong on the defense here, because if they're going to lose lives early on again, then things will not start out too well for them.
Yeah, the player Wolf getting a little bit aggressive there, seeing if he can find an early frag, just trying to bring up StarK here onto the scoreboard. It's not looking like that's going to happen. But also we're not seeing a Kanto hold, Max. What's the story with that? No Kanto hold being brought out here for a bank defense. It's almost as if you're throwing away a bit of map control that, you know, would be an easy one to have. They're often shield close to stock, but they're just ignoring Kanto, which is a very questionable decision in my opinion.
It's a questionable one, of course. It's not a must thing to do. There's way to work without it, but it's a very strong position. It's a predictable a predictable position as well for the attacking team to find the defender there. But I would always at least try to attempt it. Again, we're going to see a Bravo drone coming out, but as the captain actually goes for the route, does find Tim. That's the ace of the board, the one and only hard breacher they have brought. So this is certainly going to bring up some possibilities for the attacking team here, for the defending team, sorry, StarK, as they have one less worry to deal with. And as Karma also getting very close to the bomb, playing downstairs. Timo gets another kill there on Karma. There's actually 2 Penta members down, and this might just become a round here for StarK, especially as Timo is just working up his way to stairs, finds Aina, and then also side of the kill on Risk, and Risk then unfortunately falling into Claymore. It's all Tiro all alone in this 1 versus 4 situation. His position is known, he's in a tough position, and then Stice, the captain, comes in, finishes things off, and works 1 round finally to StarK, putting the score on 2-1.
It looks like what StarK needed to bring the match to the aggression that Penta was bringing, and once that happened, Penta just left stuck in their tracks. They know what was against them. You know, that aggression, the captain getting the first early frag, and then you just having Timo just sitting down in archives, just lurking there. You're not quite aware of where exactly he was, able to get himself down a double frag in that game. And ultimately, you know, just the kind of unsurprisingness of their positions and just, you know, lurking and getting so aggressive. Just a round winner here for the side of SK, in my opinion.
Yeah, and now Team StarK again still on the defense. We're seeing a very familiar bomb site, one that we've already seen 2 times before the first 2 rounds of this map. Just gonna attempt for the 3rd time. So far, it hasn't been really going too well for them. 2 times they lost some roamers very, very quickly and early on, losing many members within even the first minute of the round. So I really hope for StarK that this is a good decision to go back to this bomb site, that they can really bring the right kind of adjustments to finally win this round. And of course, you do know the saying, 3rd time is the charm. I'm kind of hoping for StarK that this is going to be their charm, like the 3rd attempt is going to be working out for them, because otherwise it's going to be kind of embarrassing to lose the same bomb site 3 times in total.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out though is I want to see the Amaru played again. As you know, Wolf is also going to be playing up here. The players are on the windows already, and that was almost an early engagement with Wallbang. So not going to quite find anyone. C4 is also going to swing, but that C4 is also going to miss its marker as the Jackal is still on the windows, just bobbing and weaving. And now the player of Wolf is going to be caught here in between a sandwich, as there is going to be a player on each of these windows. All he has to do is sit in this corner and hope that the alibi is able to find one. But that is Timo going to find one onto Enya, and that's going to be the opener frag here, as potentially a second one can be found, as that player is quite low on the rappel. That flare will not be found as of yet, but that's still SK coming out with an absolute beautiful opener frag. As Gamma's also going to find a little bit of damage here, but that's going to be another player falling, as Tiro is also going to fall. And this round is opening up here for the side of StarK.
It really feels starting to feel like Cafe, how teams are somehow making those comebacks happen. It's now 3 versus 5 situation in the advantage of StarK, exactly what they need at this moment. Also, Maker's on his way from the white stairs, a very dangerous position to be in. And it's Karma getting the kill, and Risk getting a kill, and Tim getting a kill. And suddenly, the advantage is in the hands of PENTA, still within the first half of this round. So still a good timing for them, even though it started out not too well for them. They have managed to work things around in their advantage. And the question is, can they keep it up? Can they keep this advantage? Or will one of the StarK members even things out by getting another kill?
This Alibi definitely though playing in this kind of lurky position. It's not exactly a pin down position. The Alibi kind of moving herself around, staying kind of fluid on the map, able to get back into sight when the side of PENTA are still expecting this Alibi to be still upstairs. As a Capcan trap, you don't pay attention, you are going to fall, and that is exactly what has happened. You know, the lack of attention will come back to bite you in the end. That's what we did see there for PENTA. It's now a 2 versus 2 minute on the clock, as both members have now rotated back into the site, and they're just going to turtle this down and let the members of PENTA just swing into their guns. As we say that, was going to be Diego finding one of his own, and it's all going to be left here to Tim in a 1 versus that, but hits the Capcan trap, and the Alibi chilling in the corner is going to take him down, and SK win a very convincing round.
I'm just a bit curious why PENTA was getting so aggressive in this 2 versus 2. Or even 3 versus 2 at one point. They still had a decent amount of time. They managed to bring it to 3 versus 2 within the first half of the round, so there's still 1 minute and 30 seconds or more remaining. So they could have just drone things out. They had some time. They even had some heart-breaching utility. Both Risk and Tim brought heart-breaching utility to open up some hatches, open up some walls if desired. But instead it just, I don't know, they were just getting a bit too aggressive, walking through Capcan traps, which they should have known. They knew there was a Capcan. The Capcan has been spotted before. He was taken out even. So they should have known. A bit unnecessary, if you're asking me, which is, of course, very unfortunate. Now the score 2-2 evened out again, just like on Cafe. Just a bit earlier than on Cafe, of course, because on Cafe it was a 4-4 score. But it's certainly making this map very interesting.
100%. You know, as you mentioned with the Capcan, they were very much aware of the Cap. You know, there was a Capcan on the board, but it's just kind of an ignorance to the Capcan, just not paying attention that might be something that might come back and bite you in later rounds. As we know, previously, early rounds, Capcan can have a little bit of an impact, but not much. But it's always in those final dying minute, dying minute of a round or so, where the attackers are getting, they need to get this aggression going, but they also don't have the time to check their angles, look for the players, get the intel, and also push through doorways. There's so many different things they need to do all in one go. You're bound to make a mistake somewhere, and those Capcan traps are a perfect way to capitalize on the slight bit of a mistake that any attacker will be making. So as we say that though, we're going to start the attack here, as we're going to have players on the skylight. As we've seen PENTA pretty much the whole entire game, especially Risk and Tiro, both of those players being using those Capcan traps. And the wall bang is there, able to come out and able to take a little bit of damage off of Risk. And this Legion just getting very aggressive. These players on the side of StarK are just loving this aggression right now, Max.
Indeed, in the game we're seeing one player of PENTA just waiting on those white stairs skylight with very strong position, and we have seen him play various times, but it finally seems like StarK has kind of somehow learned of that position, as they have suffered casualties 2 times, 2 rows, so it's a very smart thing to just avoid a position as much as they can. So far it's a 5 versus 5 situation. Still, I remember live, both sides have suffered some bit of damage, but not too much. And I think the attackers actually now have managed to get the full top control, which they were looking for. Yes, they have. So from here they can start making some verticality possible, which of course they have brought the Sledge 4 and also some hard-breaching utility to open some of those hatches to make it very difficult for the defending team to play downstairs. Also, Capcan traps are being checked for, so at least that's not something that's happening. But C4s are very much a threat, and that's one coming from Wolf on taking out the one and only Heartbreacher, or actually dedicated Heartbreacher. Luckily, Tim has brought the Heartbreaching utility, which he can still use to do the ace's job.
Yeah, those can openers up, they're not as effective, and that's just going to be Tim finding the freest kill of his entire career onto Wolf, as Wolf would just sit behind, those file racks. I just wasn't aware of the vertical play. As we say that, though, the Legion's also going to be another casualty to Tim, as this vertical play coming out from this book is coming absolutely huge here. Sledge vertical play, not as effective, but that book play is absolutely insane right now. again, they're definitely going to be aware of the Capcan traps. As you said, they are kind of looking for them, but they're coming into, there's still 40 seconds on the clock. This is where the carelessness is going to start coming out here from Penta, and this is where these Capcan traps could definitely come into the highest, stakes. As Maker's going to take a little bit of damage here, but not quite enough just to take him down. And T-Rock's just looking, expecting someone here to be playing on the bottom floor. But that's no one going to be there. They're definitely aware of this player, though, that's going to be sitting in the teller's area. Wallbang's going to come, not going to quite land, as it's going to be the castle taking a decent amount of HP damage here. Those concussions are going to swing, and that player behind the zombie barricade could definitely cause an issue, as that's going to be the Iona Fallen. And now we're in 3 vs 3 with 3v1 max.
Yeah, the Buck almost taking the defuse, but they got it going off just at the last minute, and as Maker take out Tim, it's all coming down to Karma. Diffuser down on the floor, and the timer just running out with very little seconds remaining. Not enough time to get those final kills or to get the diffuser going. And a very unfortunate round loss there for Penta. And therefore StarK taking the lead. It's actually now a 2-3 score in the advantage of StarK. Something that we didn't see coming at the beginning of this map, as Penta was so strong on those first 2 rounds. But then StarK just waking up. I don't know what exactly happened, what they did. One of the things they did was going to a different bomb site, which certainly helped. But just something really switched in their minds in the way they have been playing, and they have been very, very strong for the last 3 rounds. Now we'll be heading into the final round for their defense, so one more round for them to go. They could even potentially turn it into 4 situation and go with an advantage into the wall swap, where they will need to attack. But at the same time, Penta have been very strong on the attack, and this is their final chance to add 1 more round through the attack and making it a 3-3.
It's definitely a way closer game than we saw in Cafe. Cafe, it did end up being a 7-6, but there was also a major discrepancy. There was rounds where it was Penta 4-0 down, and then, the side of StarK, StarK then just kind of let Penta walk in and take up the slack in those rounds. But this is kind of just a back and forth. We're not seeing anyone really running away with the game as of yet. This defense round obviously can change that. We could see a 4-2 split coming out. But honestly, this game, I'm sensing an overtime, and I think Penta or not Penta, the side of StarK, are going to make me eat my words here, Max.
It would be very, very cool to see. Also, one thing I'm just wondering in my head right now, like, either is Penta not performing as much as people, as well as people were expecting, or is just StarK so much stronger and were they kind of underestimated? Because I mean, even if we look at the prediction, it was like an 80-something% vote for Penta. Just so many people siding with them. Is it Penta just not playing as well, or is it just StarK being so much stronger than expected?
Yeah, it's definitely StarK are absolutely putting on a major show here. Yeah, Penta won last map, but StarK also didn't make it easy whatsoever for Penta. Penta just weren't able to, walk into the lobby, walk away with it. But a swing here with their shotgun is not going to land. That's going to be Tiro finding one. And that's going to be Wolf falling to that G36C. As Tiro's going to get caught in the refrag here, as Karma's also going to take a lot of damage here, but Karma's actually going to find one of his own, and they should be able here to get the Iona up off the floor, and those set the frag grenades will remain intact. They won't be buried in our pocket, but those concussions are also going to start swinging in. And this is where once his aggression start to rain up, as Hero is also going to fall. And that's going to be, a little bit of a consolation frag after being able to knock him, but then him getting back up to be taken out once again.
It's a 4-3 situation. The Jaeger kind of being stuck in this position. There's so many angles from where he could be seen. There's 2 people in the square scarlet area, or even 3, but he's now making 1 less, as he does get an injury on Tim. He is injured, not out, so he can still be revived. But the Jaeger again is in a very difficult position to be in. He's kind of just trapped in this corner, especially as Ace Charger coming up, potentially even soon on the wall behind him. He will be forced to relocate himself, and that's not going to end too well as a player currently playing on a window. That's Sophia with a jump out and the Claymore is just ending things with a bang for StarK here. Another Penta win then, an attacking team win. Team Blue putting the score on even 3-3.
We are even Stevens heading into round number 7, and this is where, as I've typically said in a lot of casts, I'm not sure if you've heard me say it before, Max, but what I normally say is, these next 2 rounds are going to make or break it. As we saw, especially on Cafe. Cafe was that perfect example. It was a 4-2 split, and then Penta came in, they did the role swap, and stormed away with it. So this is, typically is after a role swap, a team can be a little bit jumpy on their attacks, they mightn't be as confident, but then they head into the defense and things just absolutely go their way. We can potentially see that as, we're seeing pretty much, your standard lineup of operators coming out here. You have your Smoke, you have your Goyo, you have your Jaeger, Echo. there's nothing unusual here that we're seeing from the side of Penta. They're just running, the good classic basic operators that you need for a basement defense. And, ideally, this should be the winning combination of operators you need. You send off Karma on a little bit of roam, let him do his thing, let him see if he can waste a bit of time, maybe take 1 or 2 players with him in that process. But you've also got then the core basics just to prevent any hard push or a plant that the side of StarK are going to be trying to bring.
Yeah, indeed, and as the preparation phase is now coming to an end, one thing that's certainly different to the StarK setup is that most of the hatches this time are being reinforced and not being opened. StarK was really relying on having those options to fall back more easily towards the bomb site. It didn't really help out too much as they lost quite a bit of their defensive routes towards the beginning, especially those basement bomb sites. Penta clearly go for a different kind of setup here. Meanwhile, the members of StarK are just trying to find a way inside of the building, just droning, scouting ahead a bit, finding some players already roaming on the top floor. But again, we're seeing an Amaru being played, this time on the side of Penta, and he's getting some people, he's tracking some people down, just finding some people. Asios even gets a kill there on Tyro. Is it this kind of thing? It could have very much no, it's actually a window kill. Very strong position as well, and Timo's still hunting for that Oryx that's on the loose, but he has meanwhile managed to escape and is now falling back towards server.
Definitely after wasting a little bit of time, the attackers are definitely going to be a little bit of, a bit anxious at the fact, oh, there might be a guy lurking here somewhere. We're going to have to do a little bit of a reconnaissance mission here to try and find out if this guy has gone back to site. But this Jackal should be able to get the guy, or that's actually the guy. It's not going to be the Oryx found at all. And they're still going to be completely unaware of where this player is going to be going. But this guy is sitting on the main stairs, might be able to find one, able to flush himself back though, keeping them alive just for another bit longer. And this should be the Oryx. Now they're going to be aware. Oryx is in sight. Guys, let's go. Let's get these hatches open. There's no one up here. We're safe. And, that's exactly what they're going to do. The book has the can openers in hand, so these hatches should be popping out any second, really. And this is where the main executes actually go in, as those hatches are already open. C4 is going to swing, not going to land. And, we're just going to see the pressure start to slowly increase as we're going into the final minute now, Max.
Yeah, most of the hatches are being opened. The other ones are going to be opened by the bug right now. So all those hatches being opened just provides so many options for the attacking team to just approach the bomb site. They have so many ways to come from above, but also currently the Jackal trying to approach from server. And from this, they can just approach from so many different sides, making it very difficult for the attacking team to keep track of it. Yes, they still have an echo that's going to provide some information to them. I don't know whether they had a bulletproof cam. No, they don't seem to have a bulletproof cam, but still they do have some ways to gather information, which is certainly going to be helpful. Also, the smoke canisters still being available. The first one is being thrown right now. Yes, the first one being thrown. Still to the pocket, so the timing for the smoke is great, and it's certainly going to be very useful as well.
As I said, that Karma's going to get a little bit of an early engagement as the player on the main stairs. Was able to find their toes. Not quite able to take him down though, but that's going to be Enya also falling, and here as Risk is going to be all in a kind of lone wolf mission here. The smoke is the smoke is not dead. But that's going to be the honor pushing in, as it's all going to be down to a 1 versus 2 situation as Karma's able to find one. And it's all going to be in a 2 versus 3 situation. What is going on here? The plant is finally going down, but the wolf on low him and HP, and that could have also been killed. Wolf with the SMG-12 able just to nip the headshot there onto the player that was at the rotate, and that round almost slipping away there from the side of StarK.
Yes.
Penta.
It almost seemed like some kind of aim assist where he was like looking at the player, wanted to kill, but suddenly looking at the wrong player. Of course, the reason why he likely went for the other player first is the player was like, of course, a threat to kill him. The person on the diffuser was stuck and can't kill him because if he would go for the diffuser, the attackers would have lost the round. So it would have made sense to go for the other player first. But if he would have just landed the shots a bit more on the first player, who was actually going for the defuse and would have killed him, then it would have been a defensive win. A very, very unfortunate round right there for Penta. But of course, a very fortunate one for StarK, who is kind of needing it at this moment as they're down 1 map point, and since Penta already won the previous map.
Yeah, it looks like the momentum Penta had kind of built up from Cafe is slowly weeding its way out here. StarK looking like a much stronger team here heading into Bank. It looks like the mental game wasn't won by Penta at all after, such a heartbreaking defeat from side of StarK. It's kind of surprising that it didn't affect them at all, but that just shows the resilience of this team. They were able to, we did lose a map, 7-6. We did kind of, toss it out a little bit, but that's not going to worry us. We still have Bank to go to. We can bring it up to, 1 map apiece, and then they can be left fighting for map number 3, where basically these last 2 maps mean nothing to them anymore.
Yeah, it's the same thing like what you said with overtime with Cafe. It doesn't matter anymore if it's 1-1 or even score. You're basically coming down to the last map on the last 3 rounds. So that's obviously something Penta doesn't want. They have the advantage right now. It's something they want to keep. It's something they want to continue to build on by winning this map. But if they don't, then they're basically back to square one, and it just basically turns into a BO1, a very, very tiring BO1 as well. Meanwhile, actually, Timo has been able to enter the building, but also so did Styes, but Styes actually getting taken out by Aina. That's the first player down. And second player down, Aina gets a kill on Timo. There's 2 members on the side of StarK lost. Very unfortunate attack here. Very unfortunate start of the round, which brings things to 5 versus 4, excuse me, in the advantage of Penta. But as I'm speaking, Tyro gets another kill on Makers, taking out the Buck, and then it's Aina with another kill on Science. Is it going to be a flawless round? No, it's not, because Wolf gets a kill on Tyro, leaving Wolf all alone in this 4 versus 1 position.
Surely they're going to be aware of this Dokkaebi, as a wallbang did come out to find out one player from 0. Bit of a wallbang going to come out here, and it's definitely works here. It's going to find some pot shots through the wall. The SMG11 in hand going for the swing. The Orc swings out to T5 100%, but that's not going to happen. Wolf is able to win that out. Left himself on a sliver of HP here, but he's still in the fight here. He's not out for the count in this 3 versus 1. Still a minute 20 on the clock. Ample amount of time. Cams are going to get hacked. That intel is just going to slip away as we have Echo drones, Max.
We do have Echo drones. We have potentially Mozzie cams, bulletproof cam. No, we don't have those. But still, there's going to be a lot of information. And as of course, 4 people on the side of Penta, StarK have lost their lives. They are going to be able to watch those cameras. But I'm also expecting the members of Penta to be aware of the situation, taking out the utility that they have, or even hiding it, or just relocating it, or aiming it away, so the StarK members cannot benefit from it. Same time, like I already pointed out, Dokkaebi extremely low on HP, 2 smoke canisters still being available, which can of course easily kill the Dokkaebi. Just a second being in a smoke would really be too much, but as well, bullets can be very fatal up at this moment, as just 1 bullet would be enough, and that's exactly what happened. Echo getting the final shot, taking out the Dokkaebi, and that means a defensive win for Penta, and so things are going on and on, just like on Cafe Dostoevsky, putting things on a score of 4-4, which is we have seen before.
Yeah, we saw it on Cafe. The scoreline always kept close. These, we didn't see the exact rush of rounds, coming in from either side. It's a very, you win one, we win one, and it's just a back and forth constant between these teams. But what an absolute heat-hurl match we have got here with us tonight. These 2 teams absolutely fight that out to stay in the competition, as this is lower bracket. This is do or die for both of these teams. If they lose, if StarK lose this map, they're gone. So, it's in their best interest to try and throw everything at it and hope something sticks to the wall, and that they can try come away with some sort of an outcome here to try and keep themselves living in ESA for just another day.
Yeah, that's something both of these teams really want, and that's exactly what they're fighting for. Like we pointed out before, Penta still being in a good position here. If they just manage to win this map, they win this match. But StarK doing everything in their power, and actually doing very well as well to not make that happen, just to bring this match to a 3rd map, where they then get the final chance, an even chance to win that last map and to win this match through that. Meanwhile, various StarK members stacking up on the northern side of the map, placing many claymores. I mean, how many jump outs have we already seen at this moment? We have seen plenty. Those claymores are certainly going to be very useful. And then this team over here with the Bravo drone. This time it's on the side of StarK. And the Bravo drone is going to come out and trying to look for information. I mean, there's Echo drones, there's ADSs. Actually, yeah, that's about it. Cameras besides that. And some motion sensors. But besides that, that's going to be about everything. But still, those can be very useful to find for the Bravo drone.
Yeah, and it's actually really nice to see that we're seeing the Bravo being brought in, and she's actually getting used, for the utility. It's not, you're bringing out for the para, which is a gun that hits like a truck. You slap next to the barrel or nothing. It's doing something like 54 damage a shot, which is absolutely crazy. That amount of damage is huge for a team. But again, we're seeing the north side repels going to be an absolute pain. But all it takes is 1 player down in the lobby, but it's also going to be the honest lurking down here. So this could prevent this window play coming out here from the defenders. That Barboyer is going to reveal that position, and surely someone is going to get maybe even the slightest bit aggressive here on Diana, just try and take out that player so they can get the free roam of the lobby, and then maybe put some pressure onto the north side windows. But that doesn't seem to be the case here, as that wall's going to get breached. A little bit of a head's going to show. but it's not going to be enough for anyone to lose any HP. That's where we're going to go open, and we should see some pressure coming in very, very shortly, Max.
Yeah, lots of patience from the attacking team. They're not just playing so careful, and yet it does pay off as they find the Frost. It's the first Penta member taken off the board. Karma losing his life here. Then also Stice trying to contest the white stairs, but as Wolf gets a kill there on Tyro, it's now a 3 versus 4. The advantage of StarK, but as Tim gets a kill on Stice, it's a 3 versus 4. Also, Timo is getting a bit of trouble, and the time also is not working too much in the favor of the attacking kids anymore. There's only 50 seconds remaining, so they do need to hurry up. Ace still needs to open up some of the walls, which hasn't been done yet, so he still needs to do those, which is happening right now. But if they are keeping up this momentum, they should have enough time, but they need to be careful and they cannot waste any further time.
Absolute beautiful pixel angle here, though, coming out from that castle to the bomb chassis just onto that main breach, and this surely is going to find someone, as those OC shields are going to be there causing a little bit of a nuisance, and he's able to find an absolute scorcher of a headshot taking down Wolf, and that's going to be bringing the man count back to level once again, as, you know, Risk trying to get a little rotate here through Trump, just to see if they can make this position any bit stronger. But there's going to be the player playing deep into Kanto. This is what we didn't see StarK play on their defenses, but we're seeing such a heavy play here, as this is why Kanto is such a crucial spot. We're seeing the kill already come out from it. That's going to be Timo swinging that power in hand, able to take down those players. Extended barrel also in use, and it's going to be Risk finding one, and just not enough time on that clock as Penta storm away with one more round.
Yeah, it was such a good thing for StarK that they for Penta, that they managed to take out the IQ, because then they would have been IQ was of course going to be very vital towards the end of the round, because the Echo was still alive with, I think, both of his drones still intact. Even towards the end, we did see him relocate his drones towards the bomb site. But in the end, we didn't see them in action as the time just was running out. There was not enough time, and even if the player was able to retrieve the diffuser in time and would have be able to go for the plant, then Echo was just waiting for him to just disrupt the plant and win the round through that. So a very good defense from Penta there, putting the score on 5-4, and therefore retaking the lead, which they haven't had for quite some time, actually.
Yeah, it's been quite some time since we've seen Penta, you know, leading the map of bank. We saw the first 2 rounds pretty dominant coming out from them, then it kind of just slipped away. But now, these past 2 rounds, someone has just flicked the switch and Penta has activated. Round previous to that, we saw Karma going absolutely huge. That run game, absolutely just sitting down StarK. They just didn't have any comeback. And this round, we saw some absolute scorching angles coming out from, you know, the castle of Enya, and then it was just, you know, Tim coming out with just, you know, doing Tim things and taking down some of these players. So we want to see some Flores drones coming in. We won't see this utility, as we're not actually going to see the Brava anymore. Brava has been used, you know, they've decided to bring the Flores instead, which, in my opinion, is a slightly better pick. As we said, Wolf is also going to get put down onto about 20-ish HP. Not an ideal situation, and it looks like a counter repel angle was used as some shots are going to be fired onto Enya. And it's just going to be back and forth as Tim finds one of his own as the opener onto Wolf, and that's going to be your IQ taken down early. With this much, you know, utility on the board, you have the Maestro, you have your Echo drones, or not the Echo drones, I should say, the barriers, and you have the Bonzi drones. Losing your IQ, not the best position to be in, but as we will say that, it's also going to be the Iona falling, that's a set of nades gone off the board. And I don't think these players know how close they are to each other, actually.
I do think the bug is somewhat aware, because it just keeps holding an angle just very patiently. I just don't know what Tyro knows anything, but at the same time, Sledge just has entered from behind, from the skylight area, and manages to find Tyro. It's a 4 versus 3 situation, still Penta in the lead in terms of man count, but at least the opening has been made here for Team StarK. Also, Silas being very close to spotting out the player right below there on the hallway, and then also Sledge being here inside, being able to create some verticality to make it a bit more difficult to play downstairs, which is going to be very useful for the attacking team.
Definitely, the one disadvantage of bringing out a Sledge in this situation is C4s. C4s are going to be your worst enemy, as there is, you know, there's actually only one C4 in the hands of Penta, but still, it only takes one C4 to make an absolute drastic change in these rounds. So Buck can do things a little bit safer, but you don't get as much vertical. So it's kind of a give and take situation. But the Sledge is also at such a disadvantage with those C4s. It just has to kind of be a waiting game here, though, as it's already going to be the Flores pushing down these main stairs, try and see if the angles can be pinched off. Sledge will take a little bit of damage to the floorboards on the reverse angles, but not quite enough to, you know, do any sort of, you know, impactful damage. Just a little bit, just to kind of scare him back from there. And we might, you know, this is 40 seconds on the clock now, Max. These things are coming down to the wire.
Yeah, the K8 electrocross are a huge problem for the attacking team at this moment. Buck did bring the Harbinger utility, but is not able to use it as those hatches unfortunately have been electrified. They don't have any sort of utility to actually potentially deal with them. The best chance would have been the nades of the Sledge potentially doing some damage there, but as those have already been used, they can no longer use them. So they really need to be careful here. 20 seconds remaining. Just need to go for killing spree here. Get those kills. Get inside the bomb site. Go for plants. Sire's only entering from the back alley right now, which is very late. Just making his way into electrical, but needs to be very careful because Tim is just waiting for him. As he gets to the crosshair, gets taken out. The fuser on the floor, getting another kill there on the Buck, leaving Timo all alone in this gunfight with the Oryx. And unfortunately not getting the kill and therefore losing the round. Based on time, that's another round for Penta, putting the score on 6-4 map/match point for Penta.
Penta again having an absolute heater this round. You know, there was just no stop to Penta. They're activated. Someone has just flipped that switch, aggression up to 100, and they're just making it work for them. StarK looking to maybe get like they're getting a bit tired here in this situation. And as we say that, we're going to see a tactical timeout, which I don't think there's a better time to be using this, Max. You're 6-4 down. Here's your time to use it.
Yeah, it's a very understandable position to do this in, because of course in the Café Dostoevsky we didn't see this situation. We didn't see a 6-4, we saw a 5-5 situation instead. And yeah, it's just a really tight position to be in, because StarK cannot lose any more rounds, because if they do, there's not going to be another map after this where they can still make a chance. No, they really need to win this map to still have a chance to win this match. Through the third map for today, which will be the decider. But in order to get there, they still need to win these 2 rounds at least to bring it to first overtime, and then they need to win another 2 rounds to win this map, and that's an extremely difficult task. So first task, these are coming 2 rounds, and hopefully they have been able to talk through some things to potentially do a bit better on the attack. So far they have only managed to win 1 round so far, so it's definitely Penta being very strong on the defense here. The only good thing for StarK right now is that they can be attacking a bomb site that they have been attacking before, that Penta did defend before as well, so they did get the first taste of the defense here, and hopefully they can use that knowledge in their advantage.
Yeah, but one thing we also have to mention is these rounds have just been kind of back and forth, give and take, but Penta have also just broken that spree as well. Penta have just run away with 2 rounds to put themselves on match point.
Yep.
So when, you know, the closeness of this game has kind of slipped away from StarK, you're going to be under severe pressure. Also, we're on match point. There's no room for mistakes. StarK cannot afford to make a single mistake here. These have to be the next 2 flawless rounds for them. Once they go to OC, they can, you know, afford to make, you know, maybe a little small mistake in 1 round, but the mistakes have to be kept here on the absolute minimum. And honestly, when the stakes are this high, you know, this is to keep them in. This, if they, you know, they have to win this round if they want to stay in ESA. That's, you know, draw it down to the line. That's what this round means to them. So it'll be definitely an interesting one to see if they can manage to stay in the game.
It surely will be. And another interesting thing to point out is Timo just sneaking his way in. Smoke right behind the deploy, but he doesn't even know what the position. Then Risk, however, does find Slice, but Timo is still in bomb site. He's just in and he finds Styro, gets the first, gets a second on Tim, but they ain't also going to kill Makers and also 2 other members on the side of StarK losing their life. It's a 3 versus 2 position. Currently not so much things to work with, but as Timo does find Risk as well, it's technically a 2 versus... Oh, no, actually, sorry, it's Wolf getting finding Risk there. Risk being injured in a very difficult position, actually even being finished as well. It's a 2 versus 2. Currently, Aina being in server, Karma being towards the garage area, finding Timo. So now it's all coming out of Wolf. Wolf in this 1 versus 2 position, or 2 versus 1, I should say. And he is the one who needs to make it happen for his team. If he gets taken out, if he doesn't succeed, it's all over for his team. An immense pressure is on the shoulders here, and there's 2 members he needs to be careful for. They're very evenly spread out in a very smart position. So Karma from the other side, and from the right side. So it's going to be very difficult for Wolf to find a way to get through this. And as Aina gets a final kill down Wolf, it's a round for Penta, ending this map with a 7-4 score, and therefore also ending this match.
Absolute heater. I think, you know, we predicted Penta to come out on top here. You know, they had such a good map on Cafe, and then you bring them to more of a structured map off Bank. I don't think anyone is going to be surprised to see the fact that Penta just kind of walked with this. Again, very start of the map, very close. It was such a, you know, back and forth, but then Penta just ultimately, they just ran away with it. There was no contention.
Yeah, it almost seemed like that StarK was gonna actually make it happen somehow. Something we didn't expect in the first round. So they did already so much better than we were expecting from them. But in the end, just PENTA is still managing to make the comeback happen, just like they did on Cafe. And it just shows that PENTA was just a bit better today, and therefore earning their spot in the second round of this lower bracket. Again, a beautiful, beautiful map. I've absolutely enjoyed this one. A very close score again, 7-4. There's nothing more boring than seeing 7-0 or something. So I'm very happy to see these close matches. Much closer than expected, like we already said. And yeah, great match by both of the teams, to be honest.
Yeah, if I was StarK, you've just been eliminated from the ESA Cup. It's sad to see. But from the match you just performed against PENTA, PENTA was the preferred team here. StarK came in as underdogs. They had nothing to lose, really. And they put PENTA up for a really strong fight, and they just made it look difficult to PENTA.
Yeah.
PENTA didn't exactly look too comfortable most of the rounds. Near the end of Bank, obviously, it looked like StarK just kind of ran out of steam. But throughout Cafe and throughout most of Bank, StarK looked comfortable.
Yeah, StarK looked very comfortable because, of course, I think they already went into this match with a mindset like, okay, hey, we're the underdog. We're going to have a tough time here. We might not succeed, but let's just give all our power, our absolute best, pull out the best strategies that we have and just give all we got. And I think that's exactly what they did. They did a really, really good job, in my opinion. In the end, just not good enough to actually beat PENTA. But it was a great attempt, a very worthy attempt. And I certainly hope that we do see more of StarK in the future in other competitions or in the future season of ESA, because they're a very, very good team. And if they just practice a bit more, look at the vods, see what they can do, what they can do to improve, I do think that StarK can actually become a very, very good team.
Oh, 100%. The potential is there for, they already have the building ground. They have great team chemistry, granted. They've just been knocked out, but the team chemistry was there. It's just, they lacked in a few little areas. It's nothing major. Those things can be screwed, tightened up. And honestly, if they put more work in, scrim it a bit more, and then, come back for maybe next season of ESA, you're going to be a very worrying team to deal with.
Surely. That's one of the things. Like, this is unfortunate that now have been like they already started in the lower bracket, so this was their only chance, really. Like PENTA did have the luxury to be starting in the upper bracket, where they did unfortunately lose their first match, where StarK was like already in a tough position from the very beginning when they came out of the group stage. And unfortunately for them, it's not all over, but they do have a good amount of time to just continue practicing, keep doing scrims, participate in other competitions to just get better and better. And like I say, I just hope to see that we can get to see more of them in the future. So yeah, that's basically it for today. We do have more matches coming up this week. We were originally having a match on Friday that was going to be Molotov Gang UK versus Team Kodak. But Kodak, unfortunately, the team, I believe the team fell apart or something. For that reason, they did have to forfeit. So for that reason, Molotov Gang UK did get a free win, and is already waiting in the lower bracket round 2, just waiting for someone to drop out of the top bracket to participate against them. But then we will be back on Sunday, which is Maniac Suiciders versus Odessa, which is going to be casted by Uncooked and Piercing. So we'll be back on Sunday. We hope to see you all soon, and then next week we'll be going back towards the upper bracket round 2. So for now, I want to thank you, Karya. It was an absolute pleasure casting with you. And
I loved every second, Max. It was an absolute pleasure casting with you. Hope the viewers enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I surely did. I'm looking forward for us to cast again. It was an absolute pleasure. And for now, I just want to wish everyone a very, very good evening. And I'll see you all on Sunday. So have a good evening, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.